Picture yourself at a crowded networking event. The music is loud, conversations are overlapping, and everyone around you seems to be thriving. But beneath the surface, a massive portion of the people in this room are exhausted, faking an outgoing persona just to meet the room's expectations. Statistically, 1 out of every 3 people is inherently introverted, meaning their baseline nature is quiet, reflective, and prone to deep thinking. Yet modern society operates on a very specific bias. We equate loud speech with confidence, and we assume fast answers are an indicator of high intelligence and competence. By tailoring our entire cultural system to reward only those who speak the loudest, we alienate up to half the population and discard their unique strengths. This portrait of Abraham Lincoln represents what historians call the culture of character from the 19th century. During this era, you were judged by your internal values, your integrity, your discipline, and your quiet moral duty. But industrialization pushed rural populations out of close-knit villages and into crowded cities. Suddenly, you were surrounded by strangers, and the booming new sales and entertainment industries required you to stand out. The 20th century birthed the culture of personality. The primary societal focus moved outward to visual appeal, magnetism, and how quickly you could charm someone you had just met. This created the extrovert ideal, the belief that the ultimate alpha state is being highly gregarious and entirely comfortable in the spotlight. We didn't naturally evolve to favor extroverts. We built an artificial, highly industrialized system that simply decided volume equals value. To understand introversion, we have to look past psychology and check the physical wiring of the brain. If we isolate the amygdala, the brain's threat and stimulation response center, we find a distinct biological difference. Harvard psychologist Jerome Kagan tracked this by exposing 4-month-old infants to new, intense sensory inputs, like bursting bright balloons and sudden loud noises. Kagan's data showed 20% of babies reacted wildly to noise, labeled high reactive. 40% remained calm, labeled low reactive. The paradox? Those high reactive infants grew up to be introverts. Their sensitive amygdalas learned to avoid overstimulation by seeking quiet solitude. Shyness stems from the fear of social judgment. Introversion is a biological necessity to retreat from sensory overload, a physical requirement for the brain to process information at a deeper, more intense frequency. Despite this biological reality, modern corporations force highly sensitive workers into sprawling, visually noisy open-plan offices, subjecting them to endless group meetings. Psychological research consistently highlights the failures of group brainstorming. It triggers social loafing, where individuals let others do the mental heavy lifting, and production blocking, where unique ideas vanish from memory simply because only one person can dominate the room at a time. Consider Steve Wozniak. He designed the revolutionary Apple I computer not in a chaotic group brainstorm, but in complete, uninterrupted solitude. He later advised engineers to work alone if they wanted to build revolutionary products. While Steve Jobs was the necessary charismatic extrovert who could sell the vision on stage, the actual breakthrough invention required an introvert's absolute isolation. By designing modern workplaces strictly for extroverted collaboration, we actively suffocate our most profound, solitary creators. We assume effective leaders must be aggressive, commanding speakers. That research from Wharton shows that quiet leaders actually yield higher returns and better results when managing proactive employees. Quiet leaders succeed because they practice active listening. They carefully calculate risks instead of rushing into decisions, and their low ego prevents them from absorbing all the credit from their team. Referencing the portrait, historical power often arrives in a soft-spoken package. Rosa Parks, seen here in this seated portrait, was an extremely shy woman. Yet her quiet, immovable refusal to give up her seat on a bus dismantled institutional segregation in America. As Gandhi appears, in this close-up profile of Mahatma Gandhi, we see a leader who viewed his severe shyness as a crucial shield. It forced him to heavily filter his speech and understand the immense value of his words before speaking them. The most effective form of leadership is rarely about commanding the room's attention. It is about quietly empowering the people working inside it. In a noisy world, introverts cannot simply hide in their rooms. Psychologist Dr. Brian Little offers a practical strategy called the free trait theory. The theory states that you can successfully step out of your biological comfort zone and project temporary extroversion, as long as it is in service of a deep passion or a core personal project. But there is an essential safety mechanism. To prevent mental burnout, this high-energy performance must be immediately followed by a restorative niche, a scheduled period of quiet isolation to recharge your biological battery. We need to stop relying entirely on groupthink, schedule uninterrupted hours for deep work, and build environments that honor both active collaboration and intense solitude. Introversion is a biological reality, providing the specific capacity for deep focus and thoughtful listening that a noisy world requires to find its balance.